to our next review called We Need to Do Something 2021. This is a newer film. It's a horror film. After Melissa and her family seek shelter from a storm, they become trapped with no sign of rescue. Melissa comes to realize that she and her girlfriend Amy might have something to do with the horrors that threaten her family. Long story short, my audience, this is a horror film directed by Sean King O'Grady, written by Max Booth III, based on his novella. Starred Sarah McCormick, Vanessa Shaw, and Pat Healy. It's basically a shelter in kind of film. We've all kind of seen these movies. The funniest one I can actually, it actually almost seems like a film that was made off a parody. If you ever seen This Is the End, this is like the serious version of that. um, this film, I have to say, it was interesting, Steve. I didn't. I won't. It gets a
Yeah.
4.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's going down in popularity, and I would say, honest to God, it kept me interested. There was one part in this film that I want to give it credit for, and that is when they are. Did you watch it, Steve?
I did see this. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. The film itself is kind of straightforward. It's these people trapped in a bathroom,
Yeah.
right? But there's so much like flashbacks and kind of nuance to why they're here and what the problems are between each character. It kind of waters down the main horror of the story, which is why this film is getting going to get a
Right.
low score for me. But I wanted to enjoy this film a lot because there were some things that really surprised me. Like, because I've seen, we've all seen this kind of film, The Trapped, with the horrors outside, especially
Yeah.
some of the scares were very old school, but yet surprising at the same time. And I want to take this time to mention my favorite one, which I bet Steve freaked out when he seen it too, because it was different. It was new. It's when they're in spoilers, my audience. They stick their hand through the door because there's a tree blocking the bathroom door. They think there's a dog, and they're sitting there, and the dog is like licking their hands, like, "Oh, he's a good dog. He's a good boy. He's a good boy." And all of a sudden, you just hear, "I'm a good boy," and just fucking pulls, and because you knew that was gonna happen. You knew the
Yeah.
arm the girl was gonna get her arm sucked out the door and like something was gonna try to eat her. But the whole "I'm a good boy," it just kind of added something, a little nuance to this film that I actually found a little charming. Um, what I
Yeah.
didn't find charming was so much of the insanity between the parents that happened in this film, because the parents are at each other's throats. This whole film
Like
is.
crazy. Yeah.
But the other thing I really didn't care for was the daughter was so stereotypical to the age of where we think of you know, um, girls now, like the troubled teens cutting themselves and being lesbians and
Mm.
being into the pagan rituals and seance and stuff. Something, Steve. What did you think about this film?
Oh man, you know what? I agree with you on this, Rob. At first, I didn't really think anything of it. You know what I like, dude? I kind of like the premise of it. I was getting early vibes when when they got trapped in the because of the storm and everything. They go in the bathroom. I was thinking of 30 Days of Night
Uh,
because they're trapped somewhere, right? And they're like trying to get out, but then they stay in. You know what I mean? They stay in deeper. So I kind of got that vibe from it. But then the tone of the film was just like, I don't know if you noticed, Rob, but it was weird. Like the parent thing was
yeah,
like really, it was like making me uncomfortable, bro. I was like, oh my god, like they're just like bickering and fighting like that. And then like yeah, the whole thing about the girl with her girlfriend. I'm like, they always have to have that, which I felt like they could have just had a regular girl, dude. Like, why did they
yeah,
have to have that going on? Like that, it didn't give anything to the film.
right.
Yeah, I'm just like it didn't do anything, but I was intrigued with this film. Jump scary, yes. Um,
It
I guess
didn't
the
jump
biggest
scare
thing
me. It just made me go like when he's like, "I'm a good boy," and the kid's like, "Why did
that
y'all?
that
Why did
okay,
y'all?" I just went like, I
yeah,
was like,
that was
"Yeah."
the biggest one. That was the biggest like, whoa, all right. Like I
Yeah, I
wasn't
was like,
expecting that
okay.
at all. Like that was a good one. But it's a dark, gritty film, like super dark, dude. Like
Do you
every scene is bloody and like like
do you like
grainy kind of
or
feel.
dislike the? Because obviously, we know, those of you who listen to the show know films and know film formula. You know how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, did you think the film itself presented a kind of a oh god, it adopted the nuances from like Alien, not showing the monster, the typical jump scares, the being pulled through the door. Did that
Right.
dissuade you at all from the film, or did it give you more
Uh,
enjoyment out of it? Because it did borrow, let's not lie. And like when I watched it, that was the one thing I was telling, like when I was watching it, I was like, it was interesting, but it was like just like every other film I've ever seen, And I was like, because what I'm trying to
right.
say is, were you mad they didn't show the monster?
No,
Okay.
because all right, you know what? I'm gonna compare this to another episode, a movie that we've reviewed on another episode, Sweetheart, that me and
Right.
Rob also watched, and we said the same thing about this, where it's like they didn't show the monster forever, and then me and Rob were just like, what is it gonna look like? And then you finally see it, and we're like, oh, like Alien. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like, okay, yeah, like we weren't
the
really all that
faculty.
impressed.
Look like the faculty monster.
Yeah, right. The faculty. Yeah, it's I don't know, bro. It's hard making horror films now because everything's been done.
Right.
So I want to give it some type of love, bro. But then it's like the film doesn't like give you that next level
Or
and I
closure.
don't mean Ozzy Osbourne for some. You know what I
Right.
mean, I just feel like I don't know, man. Like I didn't hate this film. I when I ended, I was like, hey, that was cool. I didn't. I'm not
I
gonna
didn't
see it
hate
ever
it,
again.
but I didn't love it either.
Yeah, I'm never gonna.
A
I
little long,
enjoyed
a
it.
little long for my taste.
Yeah, a little long, man.
It could have
Yeah,
been
like hour 37
sped up.
minutes could have been like hour 15.
And I know a lot of you out there are saying that's not really that long. There was a lot in it that you should just hurry up.
Dude, yeah. There was
Like,
a
I'm not gonna lie. There's a
yeah.
main premise from our audience of spoilers where the little boy gets bit by a rattlesnake that he sees out in the tree blocking the door. Takes forever, and then it's like a kind of a beat that's then again like tapped back, and it's like at that point it kind of takes over the whole film for a long time, and it's
I'm so glad you
super
brought
boring.
that up. What was the purpose of that going so long? Like I
I
was
don't know.
thinking the same reason. I was just like, this is long
Right?
about
I
this
don't know.
kid
It was like we
take.
know we knew the kid was gonna die from the rattlesnake. We knew that, so
Yeah.
he should have had some whiskey. That's what they say. I'm just kidding out there. Do not do that. That is an old wives' tale that you get bit by a rattlesnake, you drink a ton of whiskey, and you'll be fine in the
Drink
morning. Do not do that unless you're host.
unless you're living in the West.